So I got a question from one of my mastermind clients this morning about deadlifting and new clients. Now, the question is, so deadlifts are considered generally a primary exercise because they involve multiple joints, and generally you're loading it a lot heavier than maybe another exercise. Now, is there ever a time where you're not putting it at the beginning of the workout because maybe it's someone new and they don't load that exercise very well, and you're not comfortable letting them take on this load, and you're not comfortable letting them get tired with weight in their hands and pressure on their back? So, what do you do? So, I have taken this and I have actually moved that exercise a little bit lower in the workouts. This is a great example of once you know the rules, you can break the rules. So the rules are compound lifts go earlier in your training program, but the exception is not always. I have even put squats and deadlifts in the same program. I actually did that recently for a client. And I've even paired them together in the same pairing. So you would deadlift and then you would squat. And I also did that recently. I like that because it incorporates fatigue. It minimizes the amount of load that they can do, making it easier for you to do that exercise correctly. So the example would be somebody who is pretty proficient, but maybe I'm not sure that they can do this exercise very well, but they still are physically fit and I want them to challenge themselves. Then I might pair those exercises together. I would probably still put them at the beginning of the workout because I feel like I can cue things. It's a little bit more difficult with online clients, but I feel like I can cue things pretty well pretty quickly and get those deadlifts to good positions. So that would be another challenge for someone. And I realize that some people just don't respond very well to cues and to the deadlifting pattern. They just never really figure it out. Sorry, I had to itch my head. But that might be something I would think about doing, especially if I don't see that person a lot. Maybe I'll put squats and deadlifts in the same program, maybe spread out, maybe still in the same pairing. When I say in the same pairing, I mean like A1, A2, alternate between them until all your sets are done, and then you can move down to B1, B2. I might just push it back later in the workout. It's totally reasonable to do that, especially if they're not loading it. If you have a better option for loading them, maybe a split squat or something, or a reverse lunge, those I would argue might be better off in the beginning of the workout. You could also pre-fatigue them with with lunges, but also with sled work, maybe some med ball work, maybe something that gets them out of the rigidity of bilateral lifts with both legs or both arms and gets them into, moving around a little bit. One thing that you might think about, especially with kids, if kids come in and they're super tired and distracted and they just hate that they have to go do something else, and then they gotta come home and they're hungry and they're allowed to eat a little bit and it's just gonna be Cheez-Its and cereal, and then they gotta finish their homework and then they gotta go to class tomorrow and do the whole thing again. I guess it's called school when you're young, maybe not class. Those are some basic thoughts. So summary is I might push deadlifts later on in the program. I might pair them with squats to get them fatiguing, and I might pre-fatigue them with something easier to do and a little bit less injury prone or injury causing, or maybe not even injury, because how many people have really gotten hurt during workouts, but maybe something that they would find more rehabilitative, more injury preventative. So, thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button.